Hello, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We are happy to be here today on our 9th and final episode of the African History Month. It is our grand finale conference, debunking, debunking. I can't even talk today. I'm so excited. Sorry. Entrocentric. I can't talk today. Eurocentric, thank you. Eurocentric lies and rewriting African history. So I don't even know why I can't talk, but we are excited. And it is our final day. It is our final event for this month. And I have the beautiful Precious with me, and I will calm down because I actually am excited about our first speaker. So Precious, how are you?
I'm good, Diana. How are you doing? It's an honor to be with you live on this platform this evening, morning, afternoon.
Same with you. And just give us a quick shout out of our beautiful sponsors for today.
So we are quite excited and humbled by the support that we are getting from the sponsors. Our sponsors, they are Tunachek TV, YouTube channel, Council for Ethiopian Diaspora Action, CEDA, in other words, and Asacia Real Estate. Thank you so much for sponsoring the event, the grand finale. We are humbled, we are honored, we are excited, we are expecting to learn a lot from this grand finale.
Yes, and we also will be having panelists later today in our conversation, so we want you to stay with us. But we are first very honored to introduce our first speaker, I'm just going to say this, hopefully I don't say this backward, the Most Honorable Dr. Anthony-Gabby Carter is a cultural ambassador of Barbados. He is also the chief of Nigerian Yoruba people, and his title is Chief Amoyel, you got to fix that, which means our son has returned to us. That's beautiful. He is the ninth time king and the third time folk singer of the year. He has been honored in the New York State Senate and the Massachusetts House of Representatives. He also the holder of the Barbados Service Star, the humanitarian scholar 1997 of the University of the West Indies, and the honorable distinguishing fellow of the prestigious institution. He refused to accept a Sir and has become Barbados' first holder of the Most Honorable. He is a songwriter, he's a singer, he's an actor, and a teacher of music and drama, and is at a primary school level. He has been honored by both the Cuban and Venezuelan government. It is my pleasure to bring up and introduce again the most honorable Dr. Anthony-Gabby Carter.
Thank you.
Hello, honorable. Greetings. Greetings.
Thank you, my dear sister.
Sorry for the botchery, but it's an honor for you to be here.
An honor to be here with you today. Yesterday was my birthday, and today I am really happy to be here with you in this conference. Now, the first thing I want to say is that I don't think the world quite understands the tremendous contribution Africa has made to civilization. Now, it is not widely known that Africa gave the world all 7 liberal arts. And I will actually later on do a poem talking about the 7 liberal arts. But that means that among those 7 liberal arts are mathematics, linguistics, science, biology, astrology, architecture, so on. So if a people can give you those 7 important things, it means that they are a great people to start with. But you must remember that for many years, Europe have told the lie that Africa is backward, that Africa is the dark continent, and they were not referring to color. They meant in terms of education, in terms of technology, and so on. All of that is a lie. And so we, the African people in the diaspora and on the continent, must dispel this myth, because we want our generations to come to know truth. Now, Egypt and Ethiopia played very important roles here. The Egyptians gave us the first known mathematician, a man called Imhotep. He was brilliant. And so we could go on and on. And in the poem, we will mention about the cesarean section with women, that we brought that first. We are the first to do vaccines. We are the first to do so many, many, many things. And if you look at the Olympic Games, and I always say people totally and completely and deliberately ignore the fact that the Africans win the vast majority of medals in the Olympics. So someone would say, how could that be true? America wins this, and Russia wins that, and China wins that. And I said, look good at the people who are winning the medals. They're all Africans. They're Africans running for Canada, for England, for Jamaica, for other Caribbean islands. And they are the ones that dominate. And in particular, the faster races between 1 and 800 meters. Very few times that an African is not dominant. And then when it comes to the longer ones, like the marathons, they're almost unbeatable. So it tells you genealogy, the structure of African people is superior, despite the fact that they say, oh, we were backward and all of that. But that's a deliberate attempt to make Africa look less than it really is. In fact, if you even look at a world map, I think they tried to rectify it within the last 5 to 8 years. But if you look at a world map, you would see that Africa is always seemed to be smaller in size than even North America. That, again, is a myth. North America can hold in Africa. China can hold in Africa. All of Eastern Europe can hold in Africa. Spain, Portugal, France, all of those countries physically can, if it was possible to move them, you could all fit quite comfortably into Africa. And so we, the African people, our contribution to civilization is immeasurable. Immeasurable. Firstly, if you're a biblical person, you'll find that the Bible said that man was made from mud. If you look at mud, you'll find that it has primarily 2 colors, brown and black. Now, if man was made from mud, how can you call any other people as being superior or first or original or anything like that? And secondly, historic facts, all biological facts, all facts, period, have pointed to the fact that African people emigrated, and the further north they went, the less melanin they retained. And so those Europeans who call themselves white or Caucasian don't even know their history because they came from us. As a matter of fact, the first place that anyone ever saw a Caucasian or a white person was at the foot of the Caucasus Mountains in Russia. And that's why they are called Caucasians, because they first appeared at the foot of the Caucasus Mountains in Russia. And all throughout history, we have seen that the Africans have been indeed the superior race because they were here first. If you check the Chinese DNA, you'll find that they in fact originated from the Africans. The oldest known Englishman clearly originated from Africans. And so our dominance has been clear. But jealousy, envy, lies, scandal, slander, exploitation, right? Imprisonment in the terms of enslavement have allowed these people to carry the myth that African people are on the decline. And even in our physical stuff, such as gold, diamonds, bauxite, manganese, and even cobalt, you'll find African nations are dominant. In fact, Africa, if left alone, would have been the greatest developed country in the world. But the Europeans in 1884 got together and divided Africa into 53 parts without one single African being allowed to be present at that table in Germany, because they wanted Africa for themselves. And they were not satisfied just with that, because this is after they had done their slavery job, right? And sent our people into North America and the Caribbean and so on. And so I speak from a position of a Barbadian. My country is Barbados. And we in Barbados have been the world's first slave society, believe it or not. All other places had slavery, but not slavery to the point where it was the society. It was like a trade going on. But the structure, the entire structure of Barbados was made into a slave society, the world's first slave society. And the Barbadians, or the Barbadians who were enslaved, and I always make the distinction between being enslaved and being a slave. Now, none of our people that came to Barbados and the rest of the Caribbean, like Jamaica, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Dominica, St. Kitts, Nevis, Anguilla, Bahamas, Cayman Islands, Virgin Islands, none of them were slaves. They came here and were enslaved. And then you have to ask the question, how do you enslave a people? And the answer is really simple. You take away primarily three things. You take away the culture, you take away the religion, and you take away the language or languages. So we were not allowed to speak any African languages when we came. And a lot of us actually came, and surprisingly, my research has Muslims. And they were happy to stop them from speaking a language that joined them called Arabic. So once that was done, and then you take away the way how they play the drums, how they sing, how they dance, you know, how they lived, how they dressed, how they ate, then you have a slave. Chains, bonds cannot make you a slave. It's those three things primarily: religion, culture, and language. And so these Europeans brought us to Barbados first, then on to other islands, like I said, and North America, knew exactly what they were doing. Because they knew that once we were free, that because of our superior minds, because of our superior genealogy, because of our superior thinking powers, because of our superior creativity and art, that we would dominate the world. It has been over 400 years, and we are still in bondage, but this is mental bondage or mental slavery. And that is a thing that we have to work on to eradicate. And it's not easy to unwind 400 years of oppression. But we are slowly getting there. On a daily basis, we are in contact with our African brothers and sisters on the continent by Zoom, by other means, and WhatsApp and Facebook and this and that, because it's our intention to reconnect to our people. Now, you would find that this man, Christopher Colombo, whom everybody called Christopher Columbus, when he came to our area in 1492, he saw our people. He also saw what is referred to today as Native Americans. And first of all, how he got here is the most important part of it all. He went to Sierra Leone and got his navigators on his 3 boats to put on 3 boats that Queen Isabella gave him, which were the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. And he sailed one of the boats, and 2 brothers from Genoa in Italy sailed the other 2 boats. But the navigators came from Africa because the Africans were tired coming down here to visit their friends and family in the Caribbean. So they knew the route, they knew how to get here. And they had told him, yes, we know where these people are, when he described Indians. And when he thought that he had reached India, he was misled by our people to meet the Native American people. And he wrote back and said that he had reached India by a different route, because our people fooled him into believing he had reached India. And until today, we still call the Caribbean the West Indies. In other words, the western part of India, which is a myth, which is a name that needs change with immediacy. But like I said before, the Africans' contribution to civilization is immeasurable. You cannot measure it. It's too deep, it's too far, it's too wide, it's too brilliant, it's too magnificent. is too important. And we, the African people all over the world, must unite. We had leaders in the past that tried to unite us. But every time we pushed a leader, the Europeans either undermined him or had him physically killed in decade after decade after decade for quite some time. And we foolishly follow their misleading behavioral patterns and assassinate our great leaders, our great thinkers, our people retained our gold and diamonds and bauxite and manganese and cobalt and coal for us, all wood that helped build the European boats. They have been exploiting us without any kind of remorse, any kind of apology, because they worked out that if we could only find one in each country with a following that is greedy enough to want personal gain, we can control that African country. And it has happened over and over and over again. And with great propaganda, they would look at a great leader and they would say, look at him. He's no good. He's a dictator. He's a communist. He's a socialist. He's a a person that wants to get rid of you all and keep you in poverty, which was and is still a blatant lie. So we have got to tell ourselves that Africa's contribution to civilization is the greatest gift to all mankind. That we are the ones that mapped the stars for the first time. That we are the first mathematicians. That we are the first musicians. That we are the first architects. That we are the first everything that is important in this world. And so the Europeans ran with our model, because when they raided Egypt, they sent sent Alexander, the so-called Great, to plunder and to burn Egypt and took back to Greece all of the great book that the Egyptians had created. And not only that, they turned around and said, look, Africa has no history. But what they did not say, which is true, is that the Africans, after they took the books, the Africans continued to teach orally, because they knew that if they had written it, those two will be stolen and those two will be taken, just as they have taken our art. All of their museums, if we go to their museums tomorrow and we were able to get back all of our art, the British Museum, the museums in Germany, the museums in Portugal, the museums in Spain would all be empty, because they're all filled with African art. And everybody knows that art tells the story and the history of a country better than any politician would ever be able to do. And right now, there is a movement in place and operable that is seeking to get back the art that was stolen from many, many African countries that are sitting in the museums of Europe and North America. Do you know that the noses of the Sphinx were deliberately removed because they did not want you to know that they were all black people? And there is a man, a great scholar called Martin, I don't remember his last name. Sorry about that. Van Sertima. And he said that he, through research, found where the noses of the Sphinx are in London. And when he checked with them, they said, yes, we have them. But if we gave them back, then everybody would start asking back for their art. Yes, it's time to start to ask back for our art. It's ours. The crown jewel in the Queen's crown, the main jewel, is from Uganda, stolen. We want it back. Queen Elizabeth, Lizzie, my girl, we want it back. We must never compromise ourselves as African people. We must never allow Europeans to take our people and turn them against our leaders, because we know historically that they have never been on our side, those Europeans. They have all been on their own side for their own good. And that every single major city in Europe was built by Africans physically, or by African blood, or by African architecture. And that these so-called philosophers that came out of Greece were all thieves and liars. Everyone. Socrates, Isocrates, and all the rest. And so, my brothers and sisters, I climax this little statement that I made by saying or reciting a poem I wrote recently called Bleached Out Skin. Bleached out skin. It is true, a white man is hue, bleached by the coldest of regions, melanin missing into ice and open fields, a diet of fish, of whales, of seals. Getting paler by the year, watching skin disappear. In the Caucasus Mountains dwell, biologically changing not a cell. Isolated, consecrated into religious daffodils that spills its flowers on the hills of hate and prejudice, biased views, permeated in their tainted pews that live a life that lies beneath the forging of the ties that bind kind, all kind of lying on continents, whose very substance is the essence, the existence, the presence of twisted opinions in vast dominions, where the absence of rationality and reality reigns. It pains the souls of those who chose to meet and greet a cousin loss, incapable of counting the cost of racial tension, a suspension, misguided direction, and misinformation of he who is from where he came, a land of majestic, magnificent big game, warm in spirit, warmed by weather, his skin color causing him to trim and dim, cut off limb that produced him and every other Homo sapien. So conflict ensue, the bleached out hue, not knowing his history, spouts anger and is ready to spill the blood of kith and kin, bewildered, bothered, baffled by the skin that technically really is him. For if he were to research and trace, he'll see there's really just one race. Oh, bleached out skin, come see the sign that says all mankind is a cousin of mine. Thank you.
Tell me to forget that my grandmother was born right there, so alright, I say I shall go. You tell me to forget, it is there I want my own children to grow. Alright, I say I shall go. But I hope you understand how I feel about Emerton, my homeland, my homeland, my homeland. And I hope you know it's true that I would never forgive you, because look what you do to my Emerton. You tell me to forget that you bring bulldozers and push down the houses, so alright, I say I shall go. You tell me to forget, you bring bulldozers and push down the houses. Oh, alright, I say I shall go. But I hope you understand how I feel about Emerton, my homeland, my homeland, my homeland. And I hope you know it's true that I will never forgive you, because look what you do to my Emerton. You tell me to forget that you uproot my people and scatter them to and fro. Alright, I say I shall go. Oh, you tell me to forget that you did the wrong things and then let my children know. Alright, I say I shall go. But I hope you understand how I feel hope you know it's true that I would never, 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 never forgive you. Because look what you do to my Emerton. You tell me to forget and that my grandmother was born right there, so alright, I say I shall go. 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 Alright, I say I shall go.
So
Wow.
thank you. It was beautiful. We played your song, and we also were just asked if you would like to give us some final closing words. That was an amazing performance and amazing words, and very truthful of how we are enslaved and the beauty of this of what we've created. It's kind of amazing to start the day with, but please, we give you the rest to close off with.
It was really amazing because one of my major takeaways was also that the superior minds that we should embrace and actually be aware of, that we have the superior minds as Black people, and the component of religion, culture, and language. I really think that was intriguing. It's so true. When you look at it, it's so true that in a way, those three kind of control and to an extent manipulators. Thank you so much for such a beautiful presentation, really powerful presentation.
And we also share close birthdays, so happy belated.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Your birthday was recent?
Was March 24th. So,
wow,
and
Aries.
Aries, yes. But great to meet you. Is there any closing words that you would like to leave us with?
Yes, I'm really sorry that I did not bring it up, but I wanted to also say that Africa at one time was even called Ethiopia, the whole of Africa, and that Ethiopia stretched for miles and miles and miles, so much so that it stretched all the way into India. It was not the land that you see today being called Ethiopia. It was all of Africa. And so we, the African people, have got to make a concerted effort to make sure that we are reunited with our people and reunited with our natural resources. Because once that is done, there's no stopping Africa. You know, it is so clear. Look at Ghana today. Ghana is opening its doors to the people of the diaspora. Stevie Wonder, whom I admire so much, who has done so much as an artist, has recently moved to Ghana because he was fed up with the mistreatment of African people, whom they call African Americans, in the United States. And this is a huge statement. People don't understand. It's not just an individual movement, you know. This is one of the greatest artists who ever lived, making a profound decision to move back to Africa, to go home, you know. And I, on a personal level, want to thank the people of Nigeria for making me in particular the Yoruba people, an African chief. It means a whole lot to me. And I stand humbly and thankful to them for doing so. I also want to thank the people and government of Barbados for giving me our national highest honor. I want to thank all the fans who bought my music and who, you know, made sure that my name was always out there for all these many years. And I just want to thank you all for inviting me to this conference. And I hope it's not the last time that we meet with each other. And I hope that the day would come when this pandemic is over, that some of you all will get the chance to come to my beautiful island, Barbados, and see how we have progressed since the days of slavery until now. Thank you very much.
We thank you for being a part, and I'll keep you to it. I would love to go to Barbados, so I'll keep you to it. But thank you for being a part of our March celebration of us. And you are a great pillar in our growth and understanding, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day and
You
a
too.
wonderful conference. I have some other things that I have to do. I have another Zoom meeting. I also have an interview with a radio station. But I want to thank Nikita personally for inviting me and to introducing me to my family, because you all are my family.
Yes.
You're not just
yes.
friends. I am having what they call goose pimples in Barbados, goosebumps.
Good. Yeah.
I am seeing my family for the first time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that gives me chills. That explains completely my nervousness for this morning.